everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight for our live signing of our new book, We Belong to Each Other. We wanted to celebrate with you guys. We could have chosen any day to do the live signing,
Right.
but we chose today because we wanted to celebrate with you guys. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone who bought a signed copy of our book. We'll be signing these book plates that will go into your book. And as we sign them, we thought that we would chat with you guys, answer some of your questions. Unfortunately, we don't have Kopi here tonight. He went to grandma's. We thought maybe a live signing wasn't
too much for him.
Yeah.
Or for you.
Yeah, might have been a little too much. So it's just us tonight. Grace is out in the barn and Kopi's at grandma's. So you get us, but we're excited to chat with you and answer all of your questions. So
Yeah, so let's introduce ourselves. So I'm Jose, and obviously you're Liz. So the book where we're talking about tonight is We Belong to Each Other. It's just a fun little story we came up with. It actually came from a dream I had 3 years ago.
A long time ago. This was it before we wrote our last book or was it during? It might have been during.
It might have been during.
Yeah. So about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
This has been in the making for that long.
Yeah, and just the quick of it. So I had a dream, woke up, grabbed my computer. I told Liz, don't talk to me. I gotta get this dream written down so we don't forget it. And it was really never meant to be kind of in the world. It was more, I think it was just gonna be a fun family story. We were gonna just share with, our future kids.
And at this time, we did not know that we were going to go down the path of adoption.
Right.
So we were actively trying to grow our family. We had been going through years of infertility and we've had endured many miscarriages at this time. So it is really funny that the story has a lot of ties to adoption,
right.
Which was just a really happy coincidence.
Yeah. It's about Grace. If you don't know who Grace is, she's our sheep, our Icelandic sheep. She came to our farm 4 years ago.
4 years ago.
She was the first animal we had here. We had no other barn animals here other than our dogs and some barn cats. And she came to us, had a wonderful story. We are so happy. She's a character. Most people that keep up with us on the social media, they know who Grace is. They know Liz's call for Grace.
Grace! I won't do it too loud.
So she'll probably hear you.
Yeah, right.
And it's just a great way, we thought, to bring to life, connecting some feelings that we might have as individuals, our kids might have in scary situations. Adoption is a great conversation starter that we find in this book. And it's just been a fun journey that
and the overall message is that it's not looks or blood necessarily that makes us family. It is love. And that's something that we experience every day in our little family. As many of you know, our son Kopi is adopted. And so we don't look alike and we don't share blood or DNA, but we share love. And that's what makes us a family. And that's what this book is all about. So
yeah, we're just so happy that it's here, launch day.
It was so cool to see it in so many of your photos and videos today. Thank you so much for sharing the book. It means the world to us. We hope that the book in some small way changes the world for better. And so by you guys sharing, that just means a lot to our little family. So thank you.
Yeah.
Let's get to signing. Oh, I had to tell you guys, we don't have Kopi or Grace here, but I do have Taylor and Mackenzie. Many of you know Mackenzie. We still have to introduce you to Taylor, but we have a team behind the laptop. And so they will be asking us all of your questions that you're writing in. So thank you for sending those in.
Yeah, and we hope, and ask away anything from the book, the farm.
We're ready to chat.
The characters, the blogging.
Yep.
Anything under the moon that you think we might have some insight on. So we'd love chatting about it all. So let's get started.
Okay. Yeah, this is Mackenzie here. So you guys know who's talking in the corner. But first we're going to start. Emily from North Carolina submitted a question. Will you continue to write more children's books?
Well, that's a great question. That is definitely, after going through this whole experience of writing We Belong to Each Other, I can speak for myself, but I think that we've talked about it enough that it's a huge dream for us to keep writing children's books.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of messages, I think, that we, as being new parents and adopted parents, and just parents in this world, post 2020, 2021, there's just a lot of conversations I think we need to have with our children and our kids and friends and family.
And what better way to do that than speaking through our animals?
Yeah.
Because we love them so much. And it's a great way to talk to your children and show examples. So yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah, we'd love to. We hope to.
Signing.
Yeah.
We're being really bad. This is
Emily.
me doing homework.
Yeah.
Always late.
Okay, so I think a little bit related to that, Courtney from Nashville, Tennessee asked, like, how did you come together and decide to write the book? So like, what was that process like of you guys interacting together on it?
Oh, that's really.
That is a good question. So like we said, it came from a dream. So the dream was the story itself was pretty, I guess, raw in regards to, we had the character, we had the message that we think we wanted to bring together of, Grace being scared in a new place.
Yep.
And finding connections throughout the farm. And I think bringing some of those characters, you did really well with helping helping us bring those characters to life. And making some of the, I would have never thought to add our neighbor's pigs, which is a huge hit with Kopi. Diane, our neighbor, he calls her D's pigs. And whenever he sees her, he wants to go see the pigs.
Yeah, so we included them in the book.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think we just kind of like everything in our marriage, I feel like we just came and collaborated on it.
Yeah.
It's someone's dream. The other one's just automatically looped into it.
Yeah.
And
we bounce really well. We
Yeah.
counter each other off.
Yeah.
She's definitely the artistic kind of, with all the ideas firing at all the different cylinders, and I'm trying to chase her around, trying to make some of these ideas come to life.
he doesn't give himself a lot of credit though. He is very artistic himself. So,
You
but
have the creative brain.
okay. Yeah, because I can't do math or science. He can give me that. So yeah, that's kind of how that works.
Great question.
Yeah.
A common question that we've been getting on Instagram actually is it too late to get a signed copy of the book?
That's a great question. It's TBD right now, right?
Yeah.
They can
Oh, they
order
can
right
still
now.
get one?
Yes.
You guys can still get a signed copy of the book. I think the link is in the description of this video. I can't see anything on my screen, but I think it's there. Oh yeah, it's right next to the video. You can still get one.
Okay.
So we'll sign one for you right now.
That's
if you
new
want
news to
one.
us.
Yeah, we're finding all this out with you.
But in-person signings for this book, for your last book, Cozy White Cottage, those are all TBD.
Obviously with everything going on in the world.
Yeah,
So I would grab one right now if you want one.
Those have been, doing them in person has been such a fun journey though.
It was really neat with the last book. I'm sure some of you here today might have gone to a book signing of ours before, and those were always really fun. It's really weird what we do. We're behind a screen a lot. Like now I can't see anyone. I know there are people there, but it's really nice to meet you guys in person, and it's so funny. Actually, we met someone at Barnes and Noble, and it feels instantly that like you're friends right away.
Yeah.
You meet them at Barnes and Noble today, and they say they know you from your blog and Instagram, and it's instant friends. And so it's really nice to see you guys out and about and in person and at book signing. So hopefully one day we'll be able to do that again.
Yeah, I hope to sit in the chair with you next time.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Fun fact, first book, I'm not in the book at all, photo wise. I bring that up.
I didn't know it was going to be a roast.
I bring that up every chance I get.
So our book, Cozy White Cottage, he brings this up all the time. There is not one photo, you can skim through that book if you want, of Jose that was not on purpose. It just happened like that. I'm going to blame the editors of the book for not thinking of that, not me. But yeah, so anyway, sorry about that.
Okay, back to the children's book. Did you always know how you envisioned the illustrations to look for the book? What was the process of finding the right illustrator?
That is a really, really good question. Going through the whole book process, we've learned a lot. The book was written, obviously, and then the publisher presented some amazing illustrators to us. And I feel like through that, we really felt like the one we chose, Katie.
Yeah.
I feel like it just felt like it was right, and she would capture our animals in our farm the way we wanted them to.
Yeah, and you just posted a blog post of kind of like the process of before we finalized kind of the design. So like the first looks at Grace and the first looks at Winnie, and we just knew right then. And then capturing little bits of the farm that with very little input. I mean, really, it was just kind of finding a lot of the inspiration from the blog, from the social media, like the White Cottage Farm sign in front of our house, the garden and greenhouse. She just hit it. I mean, perfect.
Yeah, and we had never met the illustrator in person. So when we were getting these sketches back to us, which you can see on lismarieblog.com right now, we did post a blog post with the initial sketches and then kind of how it morphed into what is published now. But we had never met the illustrator in person. We still have not. And yet she still captured the farm so perfectly.
Yeah.
So I feel like we really lucked out with that.
Yeah, 100%.
We finished one.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Good job. Go us.
Good job, guys.
Thank you.
One of my favorite questions, and it was a frequently asked one. So this one is from April in Dallas, Texas. What does Kopi think of the book?
That is a really good question. He loves the book, and every single time, I don't know if every kid does this. Obviously, we're first-time parents, but this is with everything that we do. Every movie we watch, every show we watch, every book we read, he points out the same things on every single page every time, and it's our favorite thing.
Yeah, he has
ever.
like little phrases
With every single page. And so when he flips through it, he knows and obviously he's 2, so we can't ask him a lot of questions, but I don't know, does he think it's cool that his animals are in a book? Because he can name them all. He'll say Grace, and then there's a part in the book where Grace is crying, and so every time he says Grace is sad, and he does that face every time.
Yeah.
So he loves the book. He loves pointing himself out in the book. And Winnie, who he calls Winifred now, that's a new thing. It's not Winnie anymore, it's Winifred. So he absolutely loves the book. And that I was saying this all day today. If you were on Instagram, I was saying what a full circle moment this day was for us. Just to have our son who's adopted and this book that has such heavy ties to adoption is just kind of an overwhelming feeling today.
Right.
And so it's emotional, but
yeah,
he loves the book.
He does. There's, like you said, there's little phrases that he picks up on that he just says without even we can read it to him without him looking at the pages.
He has the first page memorized already.
He says rumble, rumble.
Yep,
rumble.
he knows that page already.
All right. A question that came through from Instagram was, and I think we touched on it a little bit, but how long it took to write the book and if you used the same publisher as your cozy book.
Oh yeah. So came from a dream. Taylor asked me, how long did you sleep for that night? I guess that would be how long it took you to write it. So it came from a dream, but it was really rough. And then working with Liz and getting some input from our publisher, who is the same publisher, in a sense, it is HarperCollins, but it's their children's book division.
Yeah, they have different departments. So that was a really nice thing too, because we were so used to working with them.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice handoff, and they're great to work with. So
yeah, but then once we really kind of brought to life the book in text, that took a few months, and we started this process right at the beginning, right about a year ago, really.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
Yeah, it's been about a year. We finished it. The whole book was only a month or two to really kind of nail it all together, and then the illustration, we really didn't have any kickback, because Katie was really doing perfect every single sketch that was coming across, and that only took about 3 or 4 months, and I think we were said and done in July timeframe.
Yeah, it was a very different process than our cozy book for sure, but a year.
Yeah,
long answer to a year.
And then this question came from Alicia in Louisville, Kentucky. And that is, what was your favorite children's book growing up and why?
That's a good question. Hi, Alicia. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for buying one of our books.
We love Louisville, Kentucky.
We do.
One of our good friends lives there.
Yeah, one of our best friends is there.
Yeah.
Hi, Rachel, if you're there. But I have a lot of them. So one of the ones that we were talking about today was Amelia Bedelia.
Yes.
We're talking about that whole series today.
Yeah.
I have a lot of them, but what was the one, the poetry book?
We Shel Silverstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right when we said children's book earlier today, and we were at Barnes and Noble, that one stood out to me right away. I just remember constantly checking that one out of the library.
I had Falling Up. It was like a white cover. It was like one of the popular characters looking down, but I think the hair was going up or
Something
something
like
like that.
that. Yeah.
But
And I
I
don't know
love,
why that was so like why that series and that poetry was so fascinating. Probably because it was like an easy read.
yeah, I loved the Amelia Bedelia
You
series.
did.
I don't know why. I just remember because she was like silly. It was funny. I remember the baseball one or softball, and they told her to go home, and she ran home instead of to home plate. It was I don't know. I
And
just had a lot of
another,
fun.
yeah, another one I just thought of too that I think I owned all of them was like the Berenstain Bears.
Okay.
Except for now that's like, I don't know if you guys follow Mandela effects, but now someone said that the Mandela effect of that is like it's spelled differently. So now I can't even think of it. But that was another
That's a
series
good
that I
one.
loved.
Yeah.
So
Arthur, that was a good one for one too. It
was
like
that a show?
yeah, it was a show, but I think it was a book too.
Oh, I liked the show.
Anyway, we could go on and on.
Okay, now I have a question from Brenda in Florida, and that is a question about Grace. So what time of year do Grace and the other sheep get sheared? And then the follow-up to that is, what do you do with their wool? Do you do anything with it?
Great question. April timeframe is usually when we shear the sheep. And if you go to Jose's Instagram, which is White Cottage Farm, there is a photo like a little ways down and you can see all of their wool hanging on the clothesline. And that's a really big project. We do it all ourselves. And by we, I mean Jose. It's a totally messy job. Him and his friend.
Yep.
Yep. It's like a whole day.
It's honestly, I need to record it from every different angle because it's funny. It's fun. It's just funny to watch.
Yeah.
So we're wrangling. We're not pros at it. So I think the best way would be to corral them in and then single file them and then get them to where you can shear them. We chase them down and then they're fast. They're very fast. But yeah, April timeframe, we shear them all. This year it'll probably be a 2-day process. Usually last couple of years has been 1 day. Then we just store them in air.
Yeah, so we have big dreams for the wool. I think it's one of those things that we want to really decide and think what we want to do with the wool. My dream was to always have some baby items made for our first baby. Well, that has come and gone. We can still make items for a coat, but I would love to learn how to spin.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of want to do research. So for now, we clean it and we have it stored. So that's where it's all at now. Yeah.
And then another Grace question that came in through Instagram was, we hear Grace is probably going to be having a little lamb. Do we have any idea when the lamb is coming? What's the update there?
We don't have an exact idea, but we know that it probably won't be long by all the signs that she's showing. So from here on out, we'll have to do like hourly barn checks to make sure everything's going good.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we'll have some littles on the way soon.
Yeah, and typically she will have hers first, and then our other mama of the farm baby. She's usually like a day.
She's always late.
She's like a day or two afterwards. So, yeah, we're excited. It's definitely a fun time around the farm.
And we'll don't worry, we'll be sure to update you guys right away. We don't want to leave you hanging because I think our DMs are blowing up with when is the baby coming. So we won't leave you guys hanging for sure.
Okay, now we're gonna transition a little bit. We have a few questions about parenting, which I think goes along great with the book. So Jenny from Oklahoma asked, what's the best parenting advice you can give for a first-time parent like Jenny?
Ooh,
Hi, Jenny. Thank you for joining us. That's a really great question. And I hate to say something that sounds like really cliche, but honestly, putting everything aside and really focusing on those first moments, first days, first months, and everything else can wait. The world can wait. And I'm trying not to get emotional, but that is something when everyone used to tell me that time flies, I'm gonna start crying. It really does. And I used to get so annoyed when we were going for infertility, when people would just be like, time is a thief. And they would say things like that. It was just one of those things where I would roll my eyes at. And since becoming a parent, I realize why it said so much, because it's the truth. It goes by, when I say that Cope is 2, and I said that earlier in the live, I feel like I'm lying, because it does not seem possible.
No, so bad.
And he's so smart, and obviously it does seem like he's 2,
Right.
but yeah, it goes by really fast. And to also just really savor and enjoy all of those moments, and to not worry about perfection.
Yeah.
I think oftentimes, especially us, when we're sharing things constantly, we're worried about doing everything right, but that's not what our kids want. They don't want perfection and perfectly styled homes. They just want you. And so to not worry about that perfection.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. Time is the one that, like you said, I thought it was.
Yeah.
It was just people saying it, but it is, even looking at photos from this time last year to now.
It
it's
doesn't
just
even
unbelievable.
seem real.
No.
So
Yeah, try to slow time down as much as you possibly can.
yeah, put the phones down, read books to them. And if you've had a stressful day, taking that, like the bedtime, not just rushing through that.
Yeah.
Give them the bath, read them the book.
Yeah.
That's something that we try to do every night.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Good question.
yeah, great question.
Our next parenting related question is from Corey Lynn in Florida. What's your favorite part about parenting? And then after, what's your least favorite part about parenting?
I'm going to answer the first one and say absolutely everything. When we were going through all of our infertility and all of that, I don't know if it set us up different. I can't get into anyone else's mind, but I love every aspect of being a mom. Things that I thought, I'm just trying to think, like changing diapers, waking up in the middle of the night. I love every part of it, and it still doesn't feel real. I remember when he was a newborn, and I thought it was so cool to wake up in the middle of the night when he was crying.
Right.
It was just like that sacred thing that I'd always wanted, and I get to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I would say my least, if we have to say a least favorite thing, is being scared all the time. And just like, because he's so wild, I wish that I could just like not be scared for a moment and maybe breathe. But also I just love it too, because he's just like this wild child, and we get to parent him.
Yeah, my favorite is probably like the teaching aspect of everything. Everything's a lesson. Everything can be taught for the first time, and seeing those dots get connected.
It's really cool.
It's been so much fun, especially with him. He just picks things up so well, and working situations through with him. It's just been a lot of that. Has been a lot very fulfilling for me.
What I think is really funny too, is seeing him put like full sentences together. I can't even say the word sentence. He can say it better. Full sentences together is just the funniest thing ever. That's been really neat. But yeah, I would say the teaching thing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, for our next question, are each of you or both of you considering writing more books? If so, do you know what you'd like them to be about? And that is coming from Carla in Maryland.
Hey, Carla. I don't know if I'm dropping like a bomb here, but or if I'm allowed to say this. But stay tuned for some news soon from me. I know we're talking about this book today, but stay tuned.
Yeah, I would love to. I love one of my favorite things, and my favorite parts of this book is little Easter eggs and having series connect to one another. In the middle of the book, there is a part of illustration, really, of the setting of your first book, the Cozy White Cottage cover.
Oh yeah, has anyone found that yet? There is basically a nod to Cozy White Cottage's book cover in the book. So that is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I love that. So I just picture series of like Grace's adventures and maybe more of Winnie and Cope, with them kind of, like you said, nodding to all the other books that we, hopefully, knock on wood, come up with in the future. I think that would be so much fun.
So the long answer is yes. Or the short answer of that long answer.
Okay. Jillian from Texas asked, do you have a piece of advice that you would give to like children? Or what kind of advice are you trying to give to children through this book?
Yeah, I would say to celebrate, and even to adults, because it's a lesson I think that we all can keep learning, is to celebrate everyone's differences and to celebrate your own differences. We were all made so differently for a reason. And when we really embrace that and we celebrate that, we can do big things. I feel like growing up, looking back, I always felt different and I was scared of that. I wanted to fit in. I strived so hard to fit into these crevices that I wasn't meant to fit in. And now being an adult, I look back and I'm like, I wish I would have celebrated being different earlier. So I would say to celebrate your differences and celebrate others' differences, and we can all do really big things in the world.
Yeah, you took it right out. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's just, I think we all get to a point after we, especially school time, after we graduate, high school and even college a little bit, where we find ourselves and we look back and go, I kind of wish I was me, and the unique me back then.
Boldly me.
Yeah, and I think those that find that when they're younger, I think you see how more fulfilling their lives are to them. And I think that's perfect. I think that's a perfect message that we can push out there.
I think another one too, along with the book, since becoming authors, we get asked a lot by people, or we hear from people a lot, oh, that's a dream of mine, or, oh, how do you do that? And I think not being scared to take a risk and put yourself out there,
Right.
I think that's how all of this happened. Was it, with our first book, I actually got a call from the publisher and they asked me to write the book, and I actually said no. And
Yeah.
it was Jose
Yeah.
that was like, you can do this, you can put yourself out there and believe in yourself. And it was too risky for me. I was too scared. I didn't want to put myself out there like that. I felt very vulnerable. And I'm so thankful that you believed in me.
Yeah.
But that was also, taking those risks, and you can go far.
Yeah, and with that, not to make this long,
Yeah,
is
we do that,
yeah.
if you haven't noticed.
is don't close any doors, because the way that the publisher found us and that brought Cozy White Cottage, now our children's book, really, is through Pinterest. You
Yeah.
shared something out there that you probably never thought was going to be more than a blog post on the blog, and people would come and go to it. But it opened up this entire different world for us.
And now that you say that, I remember the publisher actually found us through a blog post about white paint. So, and I'm not saying, yeah, I know, weird. I'm not saying that everyone wants to be an author, but that's just our example. And you can put that into the own context of your own life, of putting yourself out there and taking risks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that leads really well into a question from Carolyn from Tennessee, and that was, for this book, did they contact you, or did you reach out to them to write this?
Oh, so this perfect question. So the publisher, this was when we were writing, or when you were writing Cozy White Cottage, 2018.
Yeah.
2018. Yeah, somewhere around there. They made a couple visits out to the farm just to help with photo shoots, and really this was book one. We're very inexperienced, so trying to get us, accustomed to the process. And they met our sheep. They met Grace, and at the time, I think we only had 4 sheep then.
Yeah.
And I think one of them said, you should write a children's book about this, and that's where the dream kind of came up, that we wrote a book already, and we'd love to share it with you guys if you're ever interested. Really didn't revisit it then, and then after the first book came out, just a soft conversation with our contact at the publisher. She said, hey, let's see that children's book you're talking about, and here we are.
Yeah.
Awesome. I wanted to shout out a few people who are watching on Facebook right now. So first we have from Melbourne, Florida, who we met at the book signing, Dana Hills.
Hey,
We just wanted to say hey to you. It was so fun meeting you in Florida.
See, that was this time last year. So crazy.
So yeah, I just want to give you a shout out there. We also have Sandra is from Georgia and got their book today.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for getting it, and we hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
And then one more shout out that I wanted to make here. Oh shoot, where'd it go? Oh, I lost it. Brandy said that they have been following back from when Jose was in the Marines, and they
wow.
made their way up to the shop and absolutely loved it. They found cottage. So I thought that was really sweet that you've been following for that long, Brandy.
Seriously, hi Brandy. Thank you for being here and for being here for so long.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of this last night, which I think is a great topic for Instagram stories or something later. But we don't have to go that deep into it. But talking about all the changes that have happened in our life since then,
Right.
because we've changed so much as people. And so I think that's a great topic to talk about later. So hopefully you're there for that because you've seen all those changes. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
What I can't believe is we talked about this the other day is in a few years, in a few short years, we'll have more time back home than we did in the military.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We've almost been home 10 years now. 2024 will be 10 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Time flies.
Yeah.
Okay, another question is, do you think Kopi has a favorite character in the book?
Oh,
I think Grace is probably the one who
I would
calls out the
say
most.
I would say Grace or Winifred.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely says Winifred.
Definitely. But he also, if you see the book, there is an actual family photo in the back, and he has to flip there first and point us all out. So yeah, it's just funny that he knows everybody in the book. But I would say Grace for sure. Yeah, and he loves Grace, and he actually has started to call her like I call for her, which is so funny. I didn't know he picked up on that. So be careful what you say around your kids because they're picking up on all of it. So he definitely calls Grace how I call her, which is really funny and adorable.
It is adorable.
All right, another question that we have from Instagram is, what ages is the book for? Like, Kopi likes it. What do you think there?
So the publisher always sets an age, and their age that they set was 4 through 8. So I feel like I don't have a child older than 2, but I feel like children of all ages would enjoy it. And a lot of adults, we've seen a lot of adults reading it on social media today too, and a lot of them have said they cried. So, but I think 4 to 8 is what the publisher said. Yeah.
Awesome. And then another question that I feel like is pretty frequent that we've been getting just kind of like all over the place is the rainbow on the back of the book. Do we want to talk about the meaning behind that? Give a little deeper insight there.
Definitely. So rainbows to us have always been special. If you've been around for a long time now, especially since our infertility journey and then our adoption journey, rainbows to us symbolize hope and new beginnings. And it's so funny, I just thought of this. This second day we actually moved here in 2016. Then the next day, so we moved in, and the next day there was a massive rainbow over our whole farm.
Yeah.
And I think ever since then, they just meant a lot to us, and we knew that God had some big things in store for us. And it was hard to not lose hope and faith during those struggles. And I'm so glad that we didn't, because if we did, we wouldn't be where we're at, especially having Kopi and entering our adoption journey. But we call Cope our rainbow baby, and rainbow babies are babies that come after a really dark storm. And so that is special to us. And then his middle name is Bo, Cope and Bo. And that is, to us, it's short for rainbow. So that's kind of where that came from.
Yeah.
And also a fun fact, not so fun fact, when Grace's mom was pregnant with her, we got Grace from my friend Abby. So I don't know if Abby's on here, but hi Abby. We got Grace from her farm, and we had said that we wanted a sheep from her. Well, Grace's mom, they thought was pregnant, and the doctor came out and gave her an ultrasound, which if you've never seen a sheep get an ultrasound before, it's like the most interesting thing in the whole world. I didn't even know that was a thing, but they gave her an ultrasound and they said, "I'm so sorry. We think that she miscarried." And then we happened to be at a wedding a few weeks later, and I get this text from Abby like, "Oh my goodness, she didn't miscarry. She's delivering the lambs right now. There's 3 of them. And Grace was one of them." Well, then Grace's mom ended up rejecting her. And so we got Grace early. She was our bottle fed lamb. She came to the farm, and Yeah. Long story short, rainbows they have a really deep meaning to us. So we did want to be sure to include them in the book.
That's the blue part.
There you go. And Kopi loves rainbows. He points them out wherever we go.
He calls them Bebos.
Yeah, Bebos. When he came in here the other day, we had made this.
Yeah.
Can't talk, it's late. We had made this while he was at school, and he came in and he freaked out that there was a rainbow in the house. So they're just really special to us.
Yeah, very much.
And I think that this kind of leads pretty well into the next question is, do you have any words of encouragement for those that are waiting for an adoption match?
Ooh.
Or are waiting for a rainbow to come of any sort?
Definitely. And I think we just said that is to not lose hope or faith, because your rainbow is coming, I promise. And I know it's hard, and it's very hard when you see everyone else getting their rainbow. That is very discouraging. Why not me? What am I doing wrong? What more can I do? I know my personality is I definitely want to, what am I doing wrong? What more can I do? But to be easy on yourself and to really give yourself grace, to not lose that hope and faith. And also, I think our biggest takeaway was to enjoy the time that you have.
Yeah.
Every time we miscarried, we've had 10 miscarriages. Every time we miscarried, we could have given up completely. And every time we kept going and we kept that perseverance, something big happened right afterwards. After one of our miscarriages, we opened our store, the Found Cottage, and that just randomly came up. Another one, right after we miscarried, we found the farm. And I just feel like because of that perseverance, I can now look back at that journey and be really proud that we didn't just give up and sit there in our sadness. We kept going. And there are days where we just cried all day and we stayed in bed all day, and to also give yourself that time too, but to keep going, and it will happen. Just keep faith and keep hope.
Yeah, and I think for me, I look back at the losses that we've had, and I look forward to Cope, and I don't think there's a question in my mind that Cope was always the plan for us, even way back when we first started trying in 2008, 2009. We just had to wait for Cope to show up, really, because he is just the perfect little match for us, and I think he's always been a part of our plan. We just didn't know it then.
And I don't know if you've read the book yet, but there is a dedication in the front of the book, and that is to Cope, our rainbow baby, and to his birth mom. And I hope everyone watching gets a chance to read that, because it's because of her selfless decision and her courageous decision that we are Cope's parents. So we're very grateful to her, and very thankful. So I hope you all get a chance to read that too.
And then our next question is, where all can we buy the book? Can we still get a signed copy here?
Yes, you can get a signed copy here. Link in the profile for that. And then you can go to lizmarieblog.com and go to the book section. And on there, you can see all the retailers that sell it. We have Target, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, Christian Books. And there's a couple more on there too. So, and they're also in store now. We went to Barnes & Noble today, had it out, and they should be in Target soon. So they'll be all over. If you want a signed copy, link in the profile. That's how to get that. So, and then also, I do want to mention the small shops. They will be heading to small shops soon as well. They all placed their wholesale orders for the book, and we will be sure to put those on our socials. So all of the small shops are ordering, or if you own a small shop and you order them, definitely let us know so we can create a page to let people know that you carry them, because we definitely want to give all the love to the small shops too.
Sure. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, I just want to make super clear, if you order from any retailers, it is not going to be signed. The only way to get it signed is to order from the premiercollectibles.com/Galvan. Okay, our next question is, if you guys could just share a little bit about the process of the behind the scenes of publishing the children's book.
Yeah, so since our book was already written, for the most part. We presented it to the publisher. Publisher looked at it and said, industry standard, let's change some things around so it flows a little bit better. We were new children's authors essentially.
Yeah, we had a really great editor that came in, and a very experienced editor in children's books,
Yeah.
which was very helpful. Again, we had never done this.
Right.
And so then the editor went through and floofed everything.
Yeah.
And it was really done over email. We don't share a lot of the behind the scenes here at lizmarieblog.com or White Cottage Farm. And maybe that's something that we should do, but there's just a lot of meetings every day,
Yeah.
a lot of Skype calls, a lot of emails, which if you ever email us, it's probably going through Mackenzie first. It's vetted through her first. And then, she kind of bosses us around a little bit, which is a good thing. That's why she's here. Definitely creative Enneagram 4 here. So I need all the help I can get. But anyways, it's a lot of that. It's a lot of like back and forth.
Making sure the message and the personality the emotions are there. And then kind of towards the tail end of the writing of it, we started working on the illustrations and making sure that the farm came to life. And it was somewhat accurate. I mean, the timeline isn't perfectly accurate. I mean, Kopi's there. Obviously, Kopi wasn't here when Grace came to the farm.
We just wanted to include everyone.
Yeah.
So we had to sacrifice an accurate timeline to include everyone. So we hope that everyone enjoyed that we included everyone, and didn't mind that the timeline was a little off.
Yeah, we couldn't write a children's book without having Winnie and Kopi in it.
No,
So
that just wouldn't be right.
No.
So
All right, we have one more question, and that is the last question that we're going to get to, and then we are going to wrap up. And that's just like how you're feeling. The book is out here now. How do you feel about it? Are you excited? What are you looking forward to most? What's coming next?
yeah, I feel like this is a new beginning. I'm feeling excited today. I don't know if it's because I'm an Enneagram 4, but today was exhausting emotionally, just because it feels really cool to see the book in your hands. And we obviously wanted to celebrate because this is a big thing, but I feel like it's a new beginning. I'm really excited, and I'm excited to hear what you guys think of it. So leave your reviews on Amazon. I'd like to see.
Yeah, no, I don't know how it's a literal dream come true.
It is.
We kept Kopi home
Oh
today.
yeah, yours is a dream, literally a dream come true.
we kept Kopi home today, slept in a little bit, enjoyed family time, read the book a couple times, and then we went out and about
Looking for the book
with him. He picked up a new stuffed dog.
It almost feels surreal. He did. He got a new stuffed dog today. It does. It feels very surreal. I think maybe as we see it in your hands, as we see it out in the stores, it will feel more real.
Right.
But
we just hope that the message really connects with everybody.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear about that. And I'm feeling very grateful today. We're just really thankful for you guys, and that's why we wanted to go live tonight, to tell you that and to celebrate with you.
Yeah.
So
should we wrap it up, I guess?
That went by way too quick.
I know. We need to do this more often.
I know. Every time we go live, we should do this more. But thank you guys for joining us. It means the world. Be sure to check out the links on the sidebar or below the video for the books. And we'll be seeing you on the blog.
Yeah, keep sharing. We love seeing it in people's hands.
Yeah.
And reading with your kids. It's why we did it. So
yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah.